We're live. Barely made it, but we're live. No opportunity for people to gather ahead of time today. Who all's in here? Dust Devil Garage first. Yes, he was. One-eyed cat. No one here yet. Well, we didn't open the pool to waiting before you could swim. Mohawk 62. Auto Salvage Outlaws. Junkyard D. What's going on, man? Rabid Transit Garage. I talked to Rabid Transit Jason earlier today. And now we have Rabid Transit J. Cope is here, the valve body making man. Such cool stuff. Such cool stuff. Unfinished Project is here with his potato. We have B-Dub's Garage. Glad you could make it. Mostly Old Parts and Rust. Patrick is here. Mean Street Mopar Indirect Connection. Glad all you guys could make it. Everybody's going to think they're late. I just got the notification. Well, I just put it up. Been a long, crazy day. A fun day, though. A fun day. Dan said I missed less than a minute. I wish I could say that. I don't think I actually hit the live button until 3 minutes after 8 Eastern Time. Bad Attitude C10 is here. Blue Collar Performance. Tony's Hot Rod Garage. B-Dub says, anyone doing Power Tour? I guess some people are. I don't even know exactly when it is. Slant Daily Garage is in the house. And by the way, if you have not yet heard, per Wednesday, Patrick from Mostly Old Parts and Rust is putting up $100 bounty on Professor P's Cookie Monster there in 2810.5 on the Saturday. So whoever can take out the Cookie Monster and Professor P in 2810.5 at the second annual No Name Nationals can claim $100 from Patrick at Mostly Old Parts and Rust. I see Jackie Abbott is here. Levi's Backyard Performance. Took some time off to do some relaxation. That's cool. Oh, goodness. A lot going on now. Levi says, I got it, Patrick. Bring me the money. Well, we'll see what happens because we're doing chip draw. Yeah. So you guys just clattering about this bounty. You just caused him to probably turn the nitrous up a little bit. You probably earned yourselves 50 horsepower more nitrous just for that. Cope says Unfinished Project is the hall monitor today. He is everywhere. He is ubiquitous. He is ever present. When you think he's not watching, he is. Potatoes abound. They do. It's getting close. It is 111 days. And for those who know, 11 is my favorite number. It is getting close. Yes. We got a swap meet going on in the comments, which is awesome, which is great. Dan says, I can only get a few more comments or minutes till I'm banned from commenting. I don't know what in the world he's talking about. All I can think of is that sometimes when you're creative or colorful, the woke censor mob at YouTube has come up with so many things that holds comments and cues now. I mean, everything. Things that you can't imagine they would. And then you study it for a minute. It's like, oh, this is the 6 degrees separation abstract way that I've offended them somehow. It could be something completely innocent. And Dan is good at that. He is good at saying something that somehow comes up with some crazy way to offend the most abstract, looking for ways to be offended people, even if it's not profanity or anything. So on the chats that have the auto filter thing on, I'm sure he has manually approved messages in those. I actually had to whitelist him so that I don't have to manually approve a lot of his comments. But I'm sure that's what happened. He probably came up with about 3 in a row on somebody else's chat, and that's how he saw that. So there's some inside stuff from how these lives run and how they get moderated. If you turn on the YouTube auto filter for manually approving comments, it has gotten stricter and stricter and stricter and stricter to where you'll look at comments that have to be manually approved and study it. And Like, I can't see any reason why that thing is caught in the filter. It's like code or something. Blake, is that Thermoquad in the mail yet? Okay, got some parts trading going on. It's a good deal. Jure Racing, Red Light Ricky in the house. Bear in mind, the Red Light Ricky Award is coming to the second annual No Name Nationals for the red light of highest consequence in the brackets. We have NSB here. We have 6% recycled here. Lots of people sneaking in. Dean Stevenson, Heaven Mopars. You came up in conversation today. I was helping Stephen Holtz and the Dart Freak 75 load up and ready for transport. One of the rustiest 73 Cudas I've ever seen. And you came up in conversation. Imagine that. NSB says, Windlight Ricky in the house. Yes, indeed. But see, that's the thing. That's the cool thing about Red Light Ricky, because as he starts to stack up all of these trophies and all these Wallies, you'll start putting on his shelf. He'll say, man, I've known him from back when I was Red Light Ricky. There's L&A Auto Works. So a little bit later in the show, we're going to have L&A Auto Works on. If you haven't noticed, he is very close to 500 subs. He is knocking on the door. So the thumbnail, that is what you saw. Dart Freak 75, Kevin there. And if that sounds familiar, that is because he was weighing getting into the No Name 500 last year with his 75 Dart Swinger 360. And there is Stephen Holtz. Stephen Holtz just drive it. He is making a tour of the southeastern United States, visiting other YouTubers. And I think he's probably hanging out with Andy Wood as we speak. But there he is. And man, that CUDA is rough, but he's a guy that's going to do some good stuff with it. It looks like it's going to have a 400 big block and 727 going in. It's a factory sunroof car. It's a factory sunroof floors car now, too. But he's got a lot of metal there to fix it with, and that car's going to be pretty cool. He'll do something good with it. Buffalo Brian 33, what's going on? Let's see. Tony's Hot Rod Garage. So you come in. Buffalo Brown 33 says, how old are you, one-eyed cat? So when someone's brother is asking him on a public forum how old he is, that probably means he wants one-eyed cat to tell all of us how old he is. There's T's Good Time Garage. How's it going? I like T's style. That's a fun channel. Hey, my mom's in the house. 57. So Don English to One-Eyed Cat is 57. There you go. Got to be his birthday or close or something like that. Jure Racing, Bad Tree Productions. That's right. So Ricky's going on the road in a drag and drive and taking Blake with him. That's going to be cool and fun. Dude Mopar, how's it going? Yeah, Buffalo Prime says, how are you, One-Eyed Cat? Well, there you go. It makes more sense. 58 into the month. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was in June, something like that. Wow, Blue Collar Performance, there we go. He's 48 today. T's Good Time Garage says, doing great and currently eligible now. Dotting some I's, crossing some T's. Okay, that's cool. You thinking about coming out to Sykeston? We'd love to meet you. I see Just Mopar Joe says, all right, Mopar people, you know that the evening's good when he comes and rallies the Mopar folks. Bad Tree says if you're in Illinois, Wisconsin, or Iowa, swing on by. Cool. I went to Illinois with Cope here about 6 months ago, and other than that, I have yet to be to the other two. May happen. Just Mopar Joe says first place, Ricky. Right. See, Red Light Ricky could inspire some other nicknames. Yeah, indeed. Happy birthday, Nate. That's cool. 48 today. Colleen Tebow's running late, be home in 30. Well, that's cool. You see about how much stuff of consequence we're doing today. Dean says Joe laughing gas after September 21st. You never know what Joe's going to do. No, that's cool. Yeah, such a community. Y'all all, this is where you guys come and converse. It's a fun place to be. It's a meeting spot. I'm like the bartender at Cheers, I guess. It's just kind of like a rally here, but this is good. This is good. It was fun. I got to see these guys today. That's 73. It's actually a CUDA on top of a Barracuda, but it is a CUDA option package car. It's a 73, and it had a 318 from the factory with a 727 and 8 3/4, which is kind of unusual. But that's I don't know what Steven's going to do with it. It's white with, you'll see it on his channel. It's white with hockey stick stripes, and very interesting. He thought about the crazy idea of burnout contest with it this year, but from the looks of that car, it would be an absolute miracle to do it this year. But who knows? Maybe we'll see it in a subsequent year. Yes, Blake, where everyone knows your name. Blake thinks I'm a dinosaur. Maybe I am. only like 9 years older than him. Yeah, Auto Salvage Outlaw says LA Auto Works. Hello and congratulations on 500. Is he at 500? Because he was at 485 minutes ago. So we'll get him in here in a little bit. Yeah, not yet, but yeah, today's your day. Today is LA Auto Works Day. One thing I'll tell you guys is I've been following the development of the Pantry. We know you're hip. I'm not the least bit hip. I'm not the least bit. I even suggested to Blake one time he should do like he should be the host of a Jeopardy type show where it has people like I don't know, me and Jabo and some other people that are like this high tech and try to give us modern terms and see if we can guess what they mean, because I actually sometimes I feel like when I learn my hip new term of the week, I learn it from Blake. Now, I've been following the development of the Casper-Matic valve body that John Cope is doing. Man, that's interesting stuff. And at whatever stage of development it is in by No Name Nationals, he plans to at least bring it for display, at least. So, cool stuff. Thumper says, who is 48 today? That will be Nate from Blue Collar Performance. Congratulations on halfway to 96. Most of the old parts and Russ says he bought a 98 Dakota 4x4 extended cab V8 with a miss. Worked on it for an hour and had to replace the number 2 cylinder rocker. Said exhaust rocker was broken. Yikes. Dean says proper education comes from Blake State. Just a heads up. Okay. There's all kinds of proper education in this state, too. Yeah, I know. I have a lot of friends born in June for some reason. June is a happening time. I finally got back to the house after my morning shenanigans with Stephen Holtz and Dark Freak 75 and ran around a bunch of errands and all that stuff. And I got in and I had to make that decision. Do I want to go out and run an auger and dig and all that stuff for just an hour and then come back in for the live? And I'm like, man, I just can't. So I didn't get my post in today. I've got 9 more to do, and then I'll have my fence post. See, I start talking about the fence, and Jethro appears down there. Tall Garage says Tom Muse left me some comment last night. Dude is still mad. Hey, this is, I believe, 3 days after the anniversary of the Muse Manifesto from last year. Every year we get a few, and that was last year this time. It's all good. We have a bunch of amazing people in the community that are here tonight. Yeah, Bad Tree says half the people must be illiterate, can't read the no wake signs. When you're on the water, there's a lot of people who just can't seem to do that. I'm convinced though. I've driven a boat once in my life, just one opportunity, one time ever, and I thought it was bad on the highways with people who just didn't observe any kind of structure to their driving until I got on the water. That was wild. Imagine all the crazies, except there's no guardrails and they can come at you from 360 degrees. Levi says, what was Mew's deal? That's in the past. It's over with. It was funny. Dakota says, I drove a big boat with about 100 people on it. Neat. I drove a little boat with 2 people on it. It was interesting. And it had 2 engines and 2 throttles. And my buddy drove it. He'd gotten used to it, of course. He couldn't even tell. But he could just, vary, which lever is up and all that stuff. I had to think about it a little bit more. Dakota said the guy told me to hold the wheel while he went and did something. Okay. Yeah, the whiteboard warrior and all that, right? He got all disgruntled at this event and tried to create an event of his own to compete with it. And it had I wonder whatever happened to it, because obviously, it was supposed to be in June of this year. And I had to dig around and I found a Facebook page that had 6 members with a post that said it was canceled due to lack of interest. And it didn't even get a single comment on that. So he showed us. Rocky Meyer says it's a weird world today. Dakota doesn't get times out, and Brian Cabral has left the building. Would somebody time Dakota out? Thank you for bringing that oversight to my attention. Please time Dakota out if you would, some mod, and report back, because I'm watching on StreamYard. Dakota said it might have been more like 40 people. It was 100 people when you told the story a minute ago, and now it's 40. Twisted Mopar Garage, the guy who is going to show those subs who are boss this weekend. Blake says, I can teach you to drive like a pro. And by that, I mean showing you the art of hitting stuff slow, just slow, crash, slow. Yeah. That'll work. Rocky Meyer says, don't, he behaves now. But he still needs timeouts. That's part of a regular, healthy experience for Dakota. He needs that. He still needs his timeouts. In fact, Dakota is about 296 subscribers now. I think he needs a timeout to help push him over 300. What do you think? That's all right, Twisted Dennis. You got the summer is here. Content making time is upon us. Every one of you guys can do it. Yeah, Auto Salvage Outlaw says he needs to hit 300. I'll tell you what, if you guys want to share out Dakota's channel and say if you have not yet checked it out, here's a young fellow that's got an older Firebird, and he's doing some cool stuff. He needs to get his subscribers, and if he gets 300 tonight, he gets timeout. Dakota needs his timeouts. It's like sleep and nutrition and sunlight. He needs those things in his life. Patrick says, I piloted a twin-engine 27-foot boat from Lake St. Clair to Toledo. It was a party. Okay. Toledo, man. Never been in that part of Ohio. 38 POS Racing, how's it going? You're about to have company in the alumni section. Thumper, that's called the guarantee I will never have suggestions on from your channel. No Auto Salvage Outlaws, no way. No way. Twisted Mopar can absolutely do it. If he makes, all you gotta do, go to the track and just do a short. Burnout short, launch short, burnout short, launch short. Just do that and post it. Put the make, model, card in your shorts. Be amazed what that will do for your subs. You got to do it. B-Dubs drove a Fisher-Price boat when he was 3. Just Mopar Joe says 111 days. Y'all better tighten up. It's 110 days, 3 hours, and 34 minutes to be exact. Not to say that you can't use the time from midnight until the gates open, and you can't panhandle at the gate, but let's try to do it before then. Twisted Mopar says, my plan was to go racing tomorrow. There's all kinds of things you can do. You can do all kinds of things for that. I see Ron English is in the house. Just noticed you have been sneaking around in here. I see you. Most of the old parts in Russ says Mopar parts are expensive. A pile of them showed up this week. Yes, they are. Blue Collar says the race happened Central Time. You're on Eastern, right? But remember, we have the time change too. So don't forget that. JB's little shop is here. Old man in the shop built, not bought. I saw a comment, old man in the shop built, not bought today. I thought it was really funny. It was on a channel, and the channel was whining. He'd been on YouTube all these years and had 171 subs and thought YouTube was playing favorites. An old man in the shop built, not bought said, you ever thought maybe it's the content you're putting out? Ding, 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 ding. There you go. We've watched Muscle and Cars sign up for the No Name 500, just leapfrogging channels every week. He has more subs than that. Anybody who puts in the work gets rewarded. Hey, look, I have close to 2,500 subs, and if YouTube knew anything about me, which they sure should from my videos, they would not favor me. So how about that? I'm going to do a contest here in a few minutes. I got a contest, something. I was going to do this Wednesday on the live with Professor P on the Tech Talk Live, and for whatever reason, I forgot. Tonight, I'm going to do a contest here in a few minutes. And the only way to win is you just got to be in the chat tonight. Battery production says 3. Okay. I don't know what 3 is. D. Okay. No, none of those. None of those. You'll see. You'll see. Blake, if anybody can get this right, it could very well be Blake. Never underestimate Blake. Oh man, the shop. Wait, I didn't say what the channel was, but I saw that comment today. It just cracked me up. Old man in the shop built, not bought. He's that guy that will swoop in with the cold hard hook of reality when it's needed. It's entertaining to watch. So coming up here in about 5 minutes, I'm gonna do a little contest. Gonna have a little fun here. You'll see why. I don't know. Well, I was gonna say, oh, there's Chris Greenaway. Punisher Lamons is here. Excellent. I always have to keep an eye on my texts and such in case, but that was just my friend Billy trying to do something that undoubtedly would ruin dinner. That's the kind of stuff he sends me. He's one of those friends. Oh, Billy's all right. And Billy watches this too. He might be watching. He's probably watching tonight, but I never see him in the chat. So, Billy, if you're in here, jump in the chat. There's Colleen Tebow. Yeah, well, listening, you're going to need to be able to see this. I'm going to do it in 3.5 minutes. I just picked an arbitrary time of half hour in. Twisted Mopar says I could load the car in the morning. Yeah, you could. Well, whatever. Or just go to the track and take yourself and shoot shorts without a car, because that way you're just there in filmmaking mode. You can literally double your subscribers tomorrow doing that. Literally. Then once you do that, you're like, oh, wow, now I see how really doable this is. Chris saw a 440 wedged into a Demon, big scoop for a dual carb or 6-pack setup. Yeah, okay. 440 fits a Demon pretty well. Blake's got his first big block dart, a 68 dart with a 400 in it, and that's going to fit the same way, or close to the same way. Thumper has other cars he could race today, but wants to bring the pasture car. Well, got 110 days, 3 hours, 29 minutes to do it. Blake says, I've seen the short of Mohawk Star. That is a cool car. It's a happy car. I like it. I dig it. Mohawk would fit in with the Bad Tree crew with that beard. Tall Garage says, I hate working on my 68 Dart. Even with the small block, there is no room. Dude, haven't tried working on them with a big block. Small block A-body headers are no fun, especially cheap ones. Dakota, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. We'll see. It is a possibility. Tall Garage, so I can only imagine. Yeah. I've never had a big block A-body, but the small block headers are enough of a pain. I actually made a 7-piece set of headers when I was a kid that you could install without moving anything. And they actually fit really well. The problem was leaks. You had to it was a goofy way you had to seal them up. But it was, it was something a 17-year-old did. I thought it was pretty cool. But they were good. And then I hit a massive pothole in them, and I flattened the 3 tubes 50% that went underneath the drag link. Blake says, not bad when the inner fenders are gone. Yeah, that makes a huge difference. You say that, and Tall Garage is probably breaking out the angle grinder and cutting wheel right now. Yeah, Twisted Mopar's headers, big or small block, work well with the factory, but they do. It's tight in there, but they make better headers now than they ever have, and yeah, it's just worth doing. You get used to it, you get used to it. I have my regular ratchet and extension done for for doing plugs in them and stuff. No, it did not hit the pothole at 100. Hit the pothole probably about 35, but it was massive. Did a lot of damage. Car was pretty low to the ground and just wasn't my day. When I hit the pothole, I could instantly hear the change in the sound. I'm like, ooh, those headers are hurt, and they were. There was shiny on the bottom, and it almost literally looked like a press had just flattened them down. Best Devil wants a set of small block fender well headers. That sounds like right up your alley. I don't know where you'd find them. Anybody here have any they want to sell, Brian? Super easy to change plugs. Yeah, makes it helps. No inner fender wells make the big block A body a dream. Yeah, I can absolutely see that. I know my Dart Sport, somebody took out the part of the inner fenders, but I mean, it looks like they did it with AOC's teeth or whatever they had laying around, just chewed out and did a terrible job. I mean, you can literally tell where they used something like a circular saw because they just cut it and then cut it. You'd have, I mean, it's like you couldn't spend 5 minutes doing this. You had to do this, you know. It's like, all right, man, I got to have these inner fenders gone before this cigarette burns out. Let's just get to whaling. They're not, it's a mess. So I probably will leave them open just because I like the access and the thing, you know, it's not driven out in the rain or anything. And it's certainly not even driven on the street. The car hasn't been driven on the street in over 40 years. But I probably am going to take some sheet metal and fix the mess. Can't leave them the way they are. I got to at least add some sheet metal back to square them up. And even if I don't put the fender wells back, I need to fix the mess. Yeah, NSB says we can take the whole front end off the Dart in 2 minutes. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But I'm not going to do that with this particular car. Yeah, that's how I described to somebody the way they put the gauges in that car, because the holes just are unbelievable. It's amazing how they drilled the holes out. It's like we couldn't use a hole saw or anything. It's like, what did you use, a punch or something, or an air hammer or something nice and clean? And I said the instrument panel looks like they cut out for the gauges with AOC's teeth. I think it was Lunar Outlaw I said that too. So I use that as my descriptive phrase for any time somebody does a chainsaw looking job of cutting sheet metal. Y'all watch one drop out of the chat like, yeah, there was your AOC fan. Oh, whatever. Dougster says, me and some guys plan to go to the 3/8 mile paved oval tomorrow. Cool. We have a 3/8 mile paved oval with a really nice all concrete dragway about 8 miles up from Radford. Chainsaws are a legitimate method of construction. I guess they can be. I've seen people do some great things with them, doing like log homes and stuff, but not my bag. Chris 103 Customs, welcome to the chat. Did the floors in the 71 GMC with a Hilti gun. All right, I'm gonna stop for just a second, just for whoever's in here. We'll have a contest. Give me just a second to get something. Be right back. All right, here we go. Blake says 3. Thumper says 1. Will not help you here. All right. Whomever can identify this, what I'm going to show you. So I had a little shop fire 2 years ago, and I finally got around to cleaning out this one corner because it didn't really matter, but I found a couple things in it. It was kind of entertaining. I found something, and it took me a minute to remember what it was. So I'm going to show it to you guys. Whoever can identify what this used to be correctly, the first person to identify it, we'll send you a No Name Nationals t-shirt. Black or gray, tell me what size, I'll send it to you. First person to identify this. Everybody ready? All right, here we go. if you know there's enough to identify it here. There really is. First person to identify this. I'm gonna love reading the wrong answers. What do you think, Cope? Well, look at this. First person to identify this wins a shirt. There is enough here to get it if you're really paying attention. It's like coming off of my hands and everything. B-Dub says my wife's cooking. That's a comment of the night. I'm watching it. I'm rotating it. There is enough here. Looks like a wad of money. Well, if it was a wad of money, it would just disappeared. I'm seeing some good guesses, but no. See some good guesses here, but no. There is enough here to ID it if you know what you're looking for. My mom says the turkey from Christmas Vacation. My favorite thing about this was just going to be reading the wrong answers only. Oh gosh, and I'm touching pieces that's coming off my fingers. Thing is disgusting. Okay, see what I'm gonna do. I didn't see anybody get it. I'm gonna come back to it later. If anybody gets it in the meantime, you're gonna win a shirt. I'll put it back up later. I'm gonna put it back up here in a little bit. Oh my gosh. I think that took time off of my life. I've not seen anybody get it. Let me scroll up and make sure just in case. There is enough there to get it. Because I wondered about that, and I'm like, yeah, it's just not an easy one. Oh gosh, I hate to even touch that thing. I'll do that again here probably in a half hour. When that cat says throw it in the recycle bin, it'll be a new Ford next year. Truth to that. Buffalo, yeah, I'm telling you, couldn't do that on purpose. We'll come back to it. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to do that on the Tech Talk Live on Wednesday, and I forgot. Of course, Shane might have just said, "Oh no, gosh, don't do that." I don't know. Oh! Look! Rob's Rods and Streetcars got it. Rob's Rods and Streetcars wins. Yes. He found it. He got it right. I thought I'd have to come back and make a second round. That's it. So I remember after that fire, it was right there near that corner, and it just vanished. And then I realized what happened is that I'm like, oh, it turned into that. So there you go, Rob's Rods and Streetcars. Let me know gray or black and what size, and I'll get that out to you. Good going, man. Man, what a community. I thought it'd be, I was starting to do this on my community page and see who was first. I thought, well, this would be a fun place to do it. Yeah, fun stuff. Buffalo Brian said that come off a car. Buffalo Brian, you are behind. Click the little button that says live down at the bottom or drag that red bar all the way to the right because Rob's Rods and Streetcars got it. Yeah, Rob's Rods. Yeah, that's right. You just got here. So the winner wins the No Name Nationals t-shirt, red or gray. Just tell me what size. I'll get it out to, or not red or gray, black or gray, and tell me what size. And coming in the mail. Black or gray. Logo. Just need the size and which color. Mostly old parts and rust. The batteries and the spark plug were throwing me off. Yeah, the battery pack was kind of the way to get it. But there was also, if you look, there's a piece of axle and you can see a wheel. There was enough to get it. Because when I first saw that, I mean, it was one of these pickup, go straight to the can. And then I'm starting to put it in. Oh, wait a minute. That's not a bad contest idea. Mohawk said, yeah, Mohawk, see, you could have recognized it. You were here ahead of Rob. Yeah. He saw the tire and battery. Exactly. Rob saw what you needed to see in that mess. I'll get it to Rob. That's no problem. Rob, just message me. Message me size and where to send it out. No problem. There's John Millworm, the guy who gets confused for me sometimes. I thought that was funny. Rob's brother Jason did that not long ago. Glad you're here. Colleen says my charger interior panels and console melted to the top of my kitchen cabinets. That's right. Colleen had a house fire a while back. Be glad it didn't get it. I actually know a guy who has a really low production number Ford Mustang. I think he has the 400th Mustang ever built, and he had a house fire. And I don't know if that car was in the garage when the house burned or not. I think it probably was. I haven't talked to him in years. Dean says it'll buff out. We can rebuild it. Dean, if you'd like to rebuild that, have fun with that. I only know one person with those kind of bodywork skills. Fire stinks. Yes, it does, literally. Imagine taking that to a functional RC car. Not happening. I didn't even know what it was when I first saw it. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this block of debris? And that's what it was. The biggest things I lost of any consequence was a few gauges. Lost a couple of nice odometer gauges. That was a bummer, but Blake says fire is hot. Indeed it is. Sure, you could put some wheels and an antenna on it. Well, the wheels and antenna are actually there. I don't know about the antenna. I don't know what happened. Listen, that's just how I found it. Thing's sitting on. I've got it on a piece of cardboard on the floor. I'm like, oh, man, I don't even want the pieces of that particulate getting on anything. Can't unscramble an egg. Yeah. We like to think we can fix absolutely anything. Some orders are a little too tall, and I think that would be among them. Thumper, I can't even tell you exactly because I don't know. It was just a find. Used to sit up on top of a toolbox, and the toolbox has got surface rust where it got hot on the side, and it didn't even occur to me it was missing. That's why. Anyway, Rob's Rods and Streetcars wins. That was fun. Aztec looks like that to begin with. Evans Mopar Scott can rebuild pretty close to anything, yes. Talented guy. Joe sneaked back in. Fun contest, Joe. Came in from the shop just in time. Well, Barrows, I'll do this again just for Barrows. Just for Barrows. So we had a contest, Barrows, for this. Whoever can identify this, what this used to be, wins a No Name Nationals t-shirt, and we actually had somebody get it. JB was thinking a transmission part. Well, no, I've seen parts that look like that come out of transmissions. Depends who builds them. Tall Garage says, I need a front accessory for a Ford 300 if anyone wants to lend me a hand. Well, what do you need? We'll see if anybody in the community can come up with it. Dakota said I wasn't the only one that thought it was a thermoquad. Well, that was not a bad guess because of the plastic on it, but all of it. So you need all the accessories and stuff. Is that right, Ken? Well, if you make a community post saying what you need, or especially pictures, if you have a picture you can put up of what you need, I'll be glad to share it. That's usually the best way to try to do parts hookup to help folks. Oh no, Unfinished Project didn't get it. And that's the kind of thing that he'd have been all over. In fact, I didn't see him in here. So was he in here? We were running it, because if he thinks he missed that, he'd be like, oh man. Twisted Mopar told Dakota, I've seen a thermoquad that looked just about like that. Yeah, I have definitely seen that on Engine Fires. There we go, just like that. Dougster, thermoquads are all right. I just like Hollies. That's what I learned how to do and what to do with. And maybe I'm 10% better to Holly than the other ones. How's that? Got your message, Rob. Awesome. Thumper says, I know a guy who just cut up a burned 59 El Camino. Wouldn't that be 38 POS racing? Bad Tree is going to pack for 6 summer. Be on the lookout for random lives each day. Cool. Excellent. All right, man. Looking forward to it. Y'all have fun and be safe. I am doing something administrative. Oh. So Patrick, mostly old parts and rust, was telling us about a broken exhaust rocker. Well, there you go. L&A Auto Works. Where are L&A Auto Works subscribers as of right now? Who can tell me that? We're going to do something here. Man, I'm getting particulate from that RC car on my book. Great day. This is the biggest mess. But the things we do to try to entertain. All right, getting ready to do something here. I think you guys will appreciate. Give me just a minute. And he's already in here. All right, L&A. I sent you a link, LNA Automotive. If you come in here, I'm going to try to get those last 12 subscribers. Yep, 488. Thank you, sir. Wow. So my friend Billy sent that. I'll share with you guys. I think Jed needs that. I think it goes well with Jezebel. What do you guys think? So we'll see if LNA dives into his email and gets that. No, Dakota. You need to keep your David Allen Co. account so that you got an account to work with while Dakota's timeout is timed out. We had somebody trying to beg for mercy for you. You got to realize Dakota's timeout. You've built the brand around being timed out. If you don't get timed out, I mean, that's part of your gimmick. I think I need that. I'm telling you, the thing hurts my right. There's so many questions you have when you see this. Oh, old man in the shop built not bought. Just subscribed to LNA. He does neat stuff. He just put up a video not long ago of a Ford doing like a bedside or something on it. Twisted Mopar says, Jig, you should do more of those pop quizzes. Gotcha. I think you mean John, but that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, this just came up, but I can do more stuff like that. The first one is why. Well, I'm pretty sure there's not another one. B-dubs, I seem like I remember a little something about that. Blue Collar says, imagine the content you can make with that, a bottle of nitrous in a pond. Yes. Yeah, we'll see if we can do more quizzes like that. That was fun. We can probably do more stuff like that. All right. So I believe he's at 489. We have.
What's up, everybody?
LNA Auto Works in the house.
How's it going, John?
It's going all right. Tonight is your night.
Be nice.
Y'all
get that off my back and start working on the car.
Y'all let me know when he gets to 500. So this is where if you guys, I'm sure that everyone here in the chat has looked at LNA Auto Works and subscribed. But if you haven't, now's your chance. And you can tell your friends about LNA Auto Works and share it and say that he's just 11 subscribers away from punching his ticket to the second annual No Name Nationals. Excuse me.
It's been a long ride. I think I started with like 75 when I joined this thing.
Yep. But you've been putting out the work.
Just a few of them every day. I like to do the longer form videos, but I work on so many cars, it's hard to have the time to get all that editing done.
All right. Well, just, do what you can do what you want to do. I mean, the big thing is we just have fun with this, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to make it not fun. Unfinished Project says, I'm going to try, but I'm at work. Going to be tough. Unfinished Project, you just missed a contest. And Rob's Rods and Streetcars won. 491, 9 subscribers away. So please share with your friends. Check out LNA Auto Works. And his link is on the home page of my channel. If you need to go over there and grab it, he's running first place in the No Name 500. He won't be for long. He's going to move to the alumni section today.
Gonna be sweet. And then I can, I guess, stop sandbagging with OASO and pull out the good stuff.
492. Ed's machine is here. How you doing, Ed? Hey, Ed, you just missed a good contest, by the way. Hey, Ed, do you think you could machine this back into shape? Unfinished project. I don't know if you're watching, but I had them guess what this used to be, and believe it or not, Rob's Rods and Streetcars was the first and probably the only to know that it was an RC car. This is how good our community is.
Now, what actually happened to that thing? I was trying to get ready. I didn't hear it.
It was in a shop fire.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't lose much. I mean, that and some gauges were the most important things I lost. I don't know, blue collar. I don't know well enough. You're at 495, 5 to go. Sweet. What part of the country are you from, LNA? Yeah, tell us about yourself.
I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Hell, I've been doing body work for 15 years, messing with cars my whole life, ever since I was a baby. I mean, it's been my life. Got this car when my dad passed away in 2016. It was a bare shell. There's not been another hand touch the car. I built the car from the ground up. Finally got to take it out to the drag strip. Had some fun out there. And now I guess got to get it tech ready to go to No Name.
Cool. Chattanooga, Tennessee. You're at 496. So Dakota and Hunter are in the Chattanooga metro area. They're in Georgia, but they're very close to Chattanooga.
Yeah, they're up this way all the time.
Yep. 497. Tonight is your night.
Freaking awesome.
Now you're going to pretty much call the minute because the calls to check out the channel have gone out. And people are like, oh, wow, this is fun. It is a fun channel, I got to tell you. One day he's taking a pointed body hammer, smashing holes in a Ford bedside, you know. I mean, you just never know what's going on over there.
Well, I try to be as funny as I can, but I kind of got some dry humor, so it's hard.
That's natural for you, though, so.
That's what the old lady was telling me. She was telling me I should take on some character or something. And I was kind of like, well, I'm pretty much am a character, honestly.
You are a character. Don't listen to that. That's craziness. You are a character. It works. You live your gimmick. It works. So Dust Devil asks what you're going to be running at No Name Nationals.
The 66 Mustang. 302 now, but by that time, with what ASO's doing, it's going to have something else in it.
Uh-oh.
He thought he was going to sneak up and attack me. I just can't have that.
You're 99.4% of the way there. You're at 497.
Sweet.
So we're just keep
498. Come on, do it for Dale. So what made you get all this started, John? I've always kind of wondered that.
So what we needed was to have a cookout in the middle of the country at a racetrack with all of our YouTube friends where we could all meet up and have a central location. And that's it. That's the idea. I mean, people have traveled and met with each other and done that stuff. You know, that has all happened. But we needed this. We needed our own national event, and this is it. Unfinished Project said I was 500. Yeah, he wasn't going to lose the contest twice tonight, so there you go.
Sweet.
You are in.
Thank you, Lars.
I'll be looking for Unfinished Project's short that he puts up showing him the 500. So
nice.
You've got it. Well earned, too. He showed everybody how it can be done. Whitty's Garage. Good to see you in here.
What's up, Whitty? He's a rare sight.
Yeah, I know. And still going. Well, the cookout happened up on Dallas's end, so we might need to work on the hosting of the cookout this year, but we all like to cook out and grill and eat. So Johnny Mopar's in here. How's it going, sir? Johnny Mopar, LNA Automotive, just hit his 500 subscriber a mere seconds ago, and he has punched his ticket.
Now, see, when I was building this car, I was watching New Guy's Garage.
Yeah.
You know, he kind of helped me through some of the things that I was working on with the car. And through his videos, I found the No Name Nationals. And it blew me away how well this community interacts with each other. Yeah, you have your dopes and people that like to stir the pot, but this community has just been awesome. They're
Oh yeah.
fun.
Oh yeah. Johnny said, asks how I am. Doing all right. It's been a fun and exciting day. I met with a couple of YouTubers this morning, and we checked out his new find, a really rough and rusty '73 Cuda. But we'll see what it turns into. It's going to be exciting. Mopar Jeff 604 is in here. Good to see you too. Auto Salvages, it's the best. Yeah, we're going to have a great time. So now that you've punched your ticket, now that you're in, you have any call outs you want to make?
Well, we had Tom to start with, but I think he's going to be, racing the Model T.
Right.
But ASO called me out on the side, so I think I'm going to take that one. That's more of a close matchup for me there.
See, Johnny, you should come out to Sikeston. Look at all the fun. We'll have a Model T Ford on the track, a U-Haul, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'd absolutely. I'll fall back and let that happen. I want to see that.
Yeah, I want to be at the line when that happens. I'm going to be watching from wherever I am and see catch those guys in the staging. Well, there'll be a lot of people around interviewing them and stuff like that, I'm sure, when they're in the staging lanes. So,
oh yeah,
yeah, we should make history with that. A 1916 Model T Ford racing a U-Haul.
And I'm just excited I got these subs in enough time to get the car ready like I want.
B-Dub's Garage has got to run. Need to get back to work on the 300 plus. I need to punch my ticket. You can do it.
You can do it, buddy.
You absolutely can do it. Yeah. That's the thing. I got to tell you, we've had enough people do it now. I think you're the 56th official. So we've had so many people make it that it's hard for people to say they can't because they can. And we've had people make it from 70 subs in 2 weeks. We've had people do it over the course of the year. We've had people come back a second year and do it. Rob's Rods and Streetcars, he got his on his second try. Clay from My Next Project got his on his second try. B-Dubs can do it. He could do it on his second try. There's nothing wrong with that at all. The Junkyard Necromancer, how's it going? That's part of the New Guys Garage gang. So what kind of content are you gonna do? A 500th video?
Absolutely.
LNA, you gonna?
The tires are coming off of this thing, that's for sure.
Nice. Johnny Mopar 500. Well, either way, you've got that. Just Mopar Joe wants to see New Guys Garage and LNA Auto race at the No Name Nationals. That'd be a good race. That's a pair of Mustangs.
I think that's going to happen without a call out.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity's sake, we both putting some similar mods into it, and it should be a really close race.
Joe can certainly do what he wants, but I think he's kind of the point where he needs to let all the call-outs who want to race him have their own runoff.
Yeah.
Because everybody and their brother wants to race Just Mopar Joe.
Everybody wants that money.
Well, yeah, that too. There is up to $420 of bounty money on Just Mopar Joe so far to be the first to take Just Mopar Joe out in the bracket. I say up to because some of that, some of it you get regardless. Some of it depends on what stickers you're running and what parts are in your transmission.
Right.
Big money, Cope says. Yes, indeed. Actually, we should go through that real quick just to remind people. So, the bounty on Just Mopar Joe is as follows. John Cope will pay $50 to take Joe out in any round, the first person to take Joe out in any round of the bracket. $50. You get $100 if you have a CRT sticker on the car when you do it. And you get $150 if you do it with CRT parts in the transmission. So if you've been thinking about upgrading your strut from a hillbilly strut like I like to a nice billet CRT strut or any of those nice CRT parts that Cope has, you'd get $150 to be the first to take Joe out. So that's from Cope. Shane Polito, Slant Daily Garage, Professor P, he's adding to that $160 to take Joe out in any round with a Slant Daily sticker on the car. He's giving them out there at the event. But he's also going to do $200 to Joe if Joe winds up winning it. And that will go up $100 a year if Joe can make consecutive wins. So Joe's got some incentive too. Speed Oasis puts $100 on the bounty to beat Joe. 6% Recycle said $10. He said $10 you're running his sticker. And even though it's not germane to the bracket, Mostly Old Parts and Russ Patrick is putting $100 bounty on taking out Professor P in 28-10-5 in his Cookie Monster. And Cope says, and a very cool trophy. I have seen the draft of that. There is also a trophy for taking out Joe. So even though we're having all kinds of fun with this idea of a bounty on Joe, remember, if you watch Joe's performance and the way that he runs in general, see, Joe's a seasoned racer. Mm-hmm. You really had your work cut out for you to beat him last year. You have to be good. Twisted Mopar says, I'll take a piece of that bounty. Just got to get my car there. Do it. You can absolutely do it. Hey, you know what, Twisted Mopar? Why don't you make a video standing in front of your car at the track talking about how you'd like to take that bounty? I need 329 subscribers. And if I get them, I want to come to Sikeston to claim that bounty on Just Mopar J. Why don't you make that video and I'll share it? Slat Daily says I have money on it. Danny Boyd, nothing. No one has anything against Joe. It's all just fun.
He's just a fast guy, I guess.
Cope says Joe's going to choke under the pressure. I don't think so. He's a seasoned guy. I don't think Joe will cave at all. I think if you're going to beat Joe, you're going to have to be good. Because I remember in the bracket last year, it was 722 all day. Dakota says Joe is just a legend. Indeed. Let me see if I can find that.
Beat me now, ASO.
I'm looking for something here. Almost. Where is it? Here we go. This is lost LNA. We'll add him back here. Sometimes that happens. This is Joe's wanted poster right here. That's Mr. Haney's official wanted poster for Joe. Mohawk says that new engine Joe has is going to be tough to beat. Yeah. Joe is he's a reliable runner. Joe says you fellas are too tough. So Joe is in here. Good deal. LNA, you can always come back. I'll let you back in. I think your internet might have just croaked out a little bit. I can tell you were a long ways from your router. You were outside. So just try it again. It's no problem. Stuff like that happens. T's Good Time Garage. We're ahead of you on that one. But come to Sikeston and get in on this fun, man. There are people coming from there will be a lot. I know you're out in Utah. There's people driving past you from way past you to come here. So, and get in a caravan. There's caravans coming from out west. Auto Salvage Outlaws got to change the rear to an 8.8. So Dart Freak 75 actually runs an 8.8 in the back of his Dart. I thought that was pretty neat. Fits pretty well. I really liked how that fit. And what he did was he used the two short sides from an Explorer. So there's a longer side, the shorter side. He made them both the shorter side and kept the Explorer brakes and did a 4.5-inch bolt pattern. And it worked amazingly well. Let's see what I got here. And Patrick says that if he collects the bounty on Joe, he will donate the entire bounty to a charity of just Mopar Joe's choice. Yeah, because there's no one out for there's no one, that's just looking to take Joe out or anything like that. This is all in good fun. This is all just fun. And if you know John Cope's sense of humor, you can just see why he did that. I can tell you Cope has a lot of respect for Joe, as do all of us. So Joe is asking, how much do I win with an A&A transmission sticker on the car? Cope, you should ask. Cope, you do a pine on that. That's funny. T says up the road a good bit. Yeah, T, you'd have a blast with our crew. T's Good Time Garage. It's a Dart, I believe you're running, isn't it? He's got an A body in there. I think you just did a 904 for it. Cool stuff. Unfinished Project put up the link for Dart Freak 75. Yeah, so Dart Freak 75, he's only 103 subs away. He lives about 40-minute drive south of me. And he is wanting to come to No Name Nationals. He just needs a little bit of encouragement. So you guys let him know. Go over to Dart Freak 75's channel there and say, hey, man, are you coming to Sikeston this year? Johnny Mopar says that the lunch break is over. But, hey, man, thanks for joining us on your lunch break. That's cool. I appreciate that. So Levi's wants to do something to reward people on reaction time. So Levi will work that out, and I'll put something out later. So let's work it out. 67 Dart built a 727. I couldn't remember his first transmission build. You did a good job. I saw it running. It's a 67 Dart. It was a 727. Oh, man. Auto Salvage Outlaws has 30-year-old 13-inch tires ready for the burnout competition. Oh, my. Bear Rose said it'd be cool to see Dart Freak at the No Name Nationals. I agree. Totally agree. It's a cool car. I saw it in person today. I'd never seen it in person before. It's a 75 Dart Swinger with a 360. Blue Collar says ASO, if you want to be in that burnout competition, you got to go through his Pinto to do it. Slant Daily says TCI sticker. Look at the can of worms that opened. How much fun is that? Ed's saying to Doug, he still uses Hastings piston rings. Yeah, I've run Hastings a lot. I've had good luck with them. But as you guys know, it's not really luck, it's preparation. Hey, LNA, you're welcome to jump back in. Same link. If you want to jump back in, you can. We're just hanging out. Got 45 minutes left on the live. We can just hang out, and the main thing is that you made it. And as soon as this live is over, I'm going to move your channel down to the alumni section. And then Phil Landry has changed his channel name to Scrap Iron Garage, but the same channel. And he's about 39 away as of this afternoon. But will he get it, or will Smoke Wrench pass him? Or will Hunter from Sand Mountain Ballistics really turn it on and go around both of them? This is the question. Hey, Dr. Art is here. Is there a doctor in the house? Yes, there is. Now, Dust Devil's saying they all have to go through Charger 383 Mopar William if they won that burnout trophy. And since you mentioned that, for those who have not seen, I'll get this out today. I actually keep this right under the desk. It's like the briefcase from Pulp Fiction, right? This is the topper of the burnout trophy for this year. This is authentic tire cords from Williams Charger. He made this to go on top of the trophy. So the winner is going to win last year's burnout competition tire treads. And I'd love to keep this going. So if next year wants to contribute something like that, or this year wants to contribute to next year, can do that. In fact, I was looking, I'll show that. The tire that was on the back of Williams' car. If you come out of the burnout box, your tire is not going to look any better than that if you want to have any chance of winning. Buck Does It just came in. Good to see you, man. LNA Auto Works has just punched his ticket, Buck, so he is now in the alumni. Frank McCart Rivet in F100, one of my favorite usernames. That's the best trophy ever. I agree. William made that. William used some kind of urethane or something and cast that up with authentic pieces of tire from his car. And that will be the top of the trophy. And also that is a piston rod out of Stevens' engine that he blew up on the track to win the worst oil down. That will be the top of the trophy for the worst oil down of 2023. Dust Devil Garage says you better throw a mushroom cloud of tire smoke if you want that trophy. Well, I'll tell you, he literally did. There's a neighborhood in the shutdown area at Jeffers, and he smoked out the entire neighborhood. Jeremy had a good burnout. Yes, he did. The hippie put on a wild show. Blake put on a good show. Hippie put on a good show. A lot of guys put on a really good show in that burnout competition. Square body stuff, just lots of them. He had Torque Racing Productions rolling. Torque Racing Productions rolling kept that thing on the limiter the entire time, dragging a Grinch around under his car. It was amazing. We had a lot of guys really put on a good show. Yeah, so maybe it's not necessarily an unfinished project because it all depends. So Phil Landry / Scrap Iron Garage, the Salt Racer, he has Salt Flats race cars. He's planning on bringing I believe it's a supercharged flathead Ford in a Fox body. He's planning to bring to No Name Nationals. He's about 39 subs away. Unfinished Project put up his link. And he's close. He's really close. But now, never count out Smoker and Sean because he's not far behind him. Can Sean leapfrog him? I don't know. Can Hunter leapfrog them both? I don't know. Can Test the Speed Shop, who's running him fifth, just come out of nowhere and pass him on? Yeah, that could happen. Testa's got good content. Testa's just hit a little plateau for a while, just enough that the YouTube gods are making him pay a little bit. I don't know. But Testa Speed Shop, you can do this. You can take right back off and make it. Thumper would do the burnout contest, but doesn't want to mess up his minty, fresh show quality paint. Well, I don't blame you. Just Mopar Joe put up the link to Testa Speed Shop. Testa's had this... He's been on a wall there at 354 subs for a while, but that happens. It just happens. And the old algorithm will find him or something will happen. It happens. It works. He can break right out of that. ASO bought, yeah. So Blue Collar Performance is telling Auto Salvage Outlaws he bought a trailer for that very reason. He's not worried about breaking it. Yes, Thumper, I have seen it. I was being as facetious as you were. Landon's in here. How's it going? My favorite number is 11, and it's day 111 to go. I did not get back on my fence today because I didn't feel like an hour of that back breaking stuff before coming in here. But tomorrow, it's on like Donkey Kong out there. So I may put up a fence picture community post tomorrow. Yeah, 38 says I'm taking off better paint than Thumper has. Yeah. Yeah, Testa says hasn't been doing many videos and family things. Yes, that's part of it, and we understand that, ma'am. But here's the thing: you hit these plateaus and you break right out of them. So don't worry. You've got the content. You can absolutely do this. Fortunately, you're well up on it at 354. You're not that far away. So you got this, my man. Landon says my tire raced a Geo down the highway and the tire won. Okay. Yes, Dr. Art. Yes, we need to, there's one thing I need to do. I want to talk with Mr. Lambert when I go down there about some things, and I will talk about that with him. Stay tuned. In fact, we were talking about the throwed roll, and it's throwed with a D. So that's their grammar, not mine. A throwed roll content. Yes. So Dr. Art is putting up a bounty, $100 to catch a throwed roll with your mouth. But I want to talk with him a little bit about it because I really want that to be a show. We're going to have some fun with that. Landon says, don't trust Walmart to torque your lug nuts. Don't trust Walmart to do anything. I was in the shop one time when I was at New River Community College, and this girl brought her car in there and said, man, it started making noise and running really hot. Brought it in, checked the oil, nothing showing on the dipstick. She said, I just had the oil changed at Walmart about 20 miles back, and put it up on the lift, took the plug out of it. There wasn't a half a quart of oil in that car, and it was all glittery. And what they'd done is they had left a gasket, a filter gasket on the engine, spun another one up on there. Oh, and it broke the plastic seal on the oil plug. Broke that too. So it had two oil leaks at the same time. Anyway, we put the filter back with one gasket, found a plastic washer for the plug and put that on there, filled it up with oil, sent her on the road, and it ran, and it didn't have a rod knock. It didn't sound like a 283 when it left, but it never saw it again, so that's a good thing. But I hope that she made Walmart pay. I wasn't called to testify or anything, so I don't guess it went to court. Bench seats and lap belts deserve extra points. Just told it. Isn't that the truth? Could be worse. You could armor all it up good. That's a lot of oil. Yeah, well, it was a Honda, so. Impact on the drain plug could have been. It was a mess. You know what I've always thought funny, and I've never really understood. It seems like the jobs in the shop that people consider entry level, like changing oil, changing tires, changing brakes, those are some of the absolute most critical jobs there are. Look at the money that's at stake to mess up an oil change. Look at the safety that's at stake to mess up wheels or brakes. And yet, that's considered the entry level stuff. To me, that's extremely critical. Yeah, well, let me tell you, the people that work. So when I was in trade school, I got to see the spectrum of mechanics and where they went and everything. And most of them are just good guys that do good work. Man, they all have their characters. What can I say? That's some good stories from some of them. Unfinished project said a Honda only needs a half a quart. Well, I mean, how long do you want it to live? Jiffy Lube, Walmart, Quick Change, that's the place to stay away from. Let me tell you. So, some friends of mine have a shop that works on electric tools, air and hydraulic tools. That's what they do. And I was pinch hitting for them, picking up stuff to take in for repair. And there's one oil change place that's in the next town over. And it's changed hands and everything else. And I won't name it because of that. If it was the same place doing the same thing, I have no problem calling them out. But because it is probably a different owner now and it's changed hands, and I don't know what their setup is, I can't say. But they kept having us come in to pick up. It does oil changes. They have this thing on the wall. It's air operated, and it would dispense oil into the engine. So it didn't pour it in out of bottles. They just put this in there. They set a dial to tell it how much to put in, 4 or 5 or 6 quarts or whatever. They hit a button and it did it. It's air powered. Well, they said it quit working. So I walked down in the pit underneath and I took the air line off, and a stream of water just poured out of this thing, just like a fountain. I bet you 2 or 3 quarts of water poured out of this. The shop said, oh, yeah, that guy calls us all the time because he has the same problem all the time. And we told him that we will no longer warranty his stuff because he will not get the water out of his airlines. Turns out they have this big parking lot behind the place where they put cars back there and bring them in. And their compressor is in a little shack on the other side of this parking lot, and the lines run underneath of it, along with the long lines, hundreds of feet. And it just got all this water in the air supply. So all that water was going in with the oil. It's getting dumped right in the crankcase. And they've been doing it that way for I don't know how long. And I know the shop quit warranting their stuff. That guy wouldn't spend a penny on stuff, but all that water was going in people's engines. I thought that was just unethical. The first time it happens, and if he didn't know any better, he said, oh man, I'm horrified. I've been doing that to people's engines and what a mess. I need to remedy that. No, he wasn't like that at all. Heads out. Take care, man. Have a great Friday evening. There's a torque for the drain plugs too. Yes, there is. There's a torque for everything. Oil drain plugs, rod cap bolts, they all have a torque spec. And it's more than hand tight if you want to keep your engine together. A nice, simple air dryer filter would work for that. Agreed. That's all it would have taken. Speaking of that, Bondo Billy, the phenom known as Bondo Billy, he has a machine that he put together. He spent a couple $100 on it, and I think he's got 400 in it. He said, but he has several stages of getting the air dry for painting cars. And I thought that was really cool. He said it keeps it dry for everything he uses there in the shop. Neat stuff. Check it out on his channel. Just Mopar Joe's got to run. Got some video to edit before bedtime. Yeah, man. Thanks for stopping by. Tony's Hot Rod Garage, the spark plugs have a torque spec as well, and it can affect spark quality. It could depend on how it indexes your ground strap. See you, Joe. Nick the Van Man 90 hit 700 subs tonight. Right. Look at that. That man's insanely talented in a lot of ways. Yeah, I agree. He's a talented guy. Lots of experience. Interesting. See what he does and how he does it. Kim fixes things. What's going on? LB Bruin 79. Hey, Vince, glad to see you, man. Glad you're fogging the mirror. Good to see you. Kim, we were talking about your van and the burnout competition today. We were talking about it, and I think it came up that wild Ford Econoline with the nice. I had a picture of it. Yeah, no kidding. They're all greeting LB Bruins. Good to see you, Vince. I'm glad you're in here. LB Bruin says, I'm not really here. 611 got back to Roanoke. I see. Well, that's good. So I got to find the picture. I got to find it somewhere. I was actually participated in a competition to pull the 611 with a team of 10. Fastest time to pull at one revolution of the drive wheels. That was wild. A lot of fun. And speaking of 611, I have a pre-order out right now for John Cope's 611th billet reverse manual valve body. So if you want to see what that's going in, that'll be coming soon. Buff said we rode all over in that van. That's a wild looking van. Yeah, we were talking about that van in the burnout competition today. Kim put the van to work towing home another project. Okay, cool. LB said, wow, yeah, it was neat. I got a picture of it somewhere. I have to find it. Yeah, Dr. Art says, what did you get, Kim? I don't know where that is. I'll find that picture. I'll put it up. I don't like to put stuff on my community tab just to put stuff up, but when it comes up in conversation, I'll do it. I also don't want to fish for it on a live because one thing that is very important to this live is that we get to interact and have fun and converse together. Everybody runs their live their way. Some people, the chat is in the chat hanging out watching the show. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, the people in the audience don't necessarily interact with what goes on the stage on other shows, and that's fine. That's cool. But in this live, we like to interact with the folks in the chat because you guys are the reason that I'm here. Kim got a burn-up Crossfire, have plans for the suspension. Is that Chrysler Crossfire? The first Chrysler Crossfire I saw had the second of the new body style Durango backing into it. I turned around and heard a crunch. And when that Durango moved, there was the Crossfire with a big dent in the quarter panel. That was over to the old Thompson Chrysler in Radford. Most of the old Parts and Rust says the hair dryer is getting bigger. So the Blue Duster is getting faster. Burned up is an understatement. Well, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that. So is there a video of that? Well, you should tote it home today. But anyway, that video comes up. I'll have to check it out. That sounds exciting. Sounds interesting. Does share the suspension with the Mercedes. That alone would make me not want anything to do with it because I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff. But if you are a fan of that kind of stuff, knock yourself out. I'm sure it's awesome to to drive at high speed and corners and all that stuff. Just not my jam, but I'm glad there are people who do that. Dust Devil wants to put a 5.7 Hemi into one. That sounds very Dust Devilish. Dizzy got his 49 Dodge to his dad's in Tennessee. Cousin wants it bad. Might have to trade him. Sounds neat. Kim says it's still all Mopar. To me, it just the Mopar banner just, yeah. Once we got into the modern age, it just wasn't the same. Dr. Art's asking, who in the chat thinks they're going to have a time slip in the 6s and the 8th? Sounds to me like Dr. Art's trying to set up an index. Mercedes is expensive. When it breaks, they usually don't. Well, I know a guy who's a Mercedes mechanic, and he's told me way too many things for me to ever want to deal with one. He said that the engines do not have what is a user serviceable way to check the oil. They hold 16 quarts, and they're sealed, and all you have is the light on the dash. That's it. And she's crazy. It's crazy. He said that the new engine is $33,000 in the crate, and he's telling me this in 2019. So I'm sure it's more now. Smoke Wrench Garage is here. What's going on, Smoke Wrench? You're running second in the No Name 500 now. Are you going to pass Scrap Iron Garage for the lead? I don't know. It's close. Whichever of you guys is getting to your 500 soonest, we'll try to have on a live. LB's asking how Mom and Jethro are doing. They're doing great. Jethro was sleeping in here. I don't see him today. This office is too bright for him. I got the 2 ring lights on and the overhead. He didn't like that. This is nap time for him. Are the boards going to be on at Sykeston this year? Probably not. But that said, there's tons of video and time slips out there. I mean, we can definitely verify times. We can if we needed to. So that's not a problem. So Unfinished Project put up the link to Scrap Iron Garage there, the Salt Racer. It is up. Smoke Wrench is right behind, I think, at 439. Thumper says if mine doesn't hook, then yeah, 6s. If it hooks, then no, not in the 6s. Okay. Boards on for bragging rights. I get it, Dr. Art, but a lot to consider with that. I'm the kind of guy that just likes to just turn the boards on. I like the numbers. That's me. But there's just a lot to consider with that. So Rabbit Transit J is saying my little 340 didn't show well this year. I thought so. I thought it was fine. You made it there. That's a big deal. Danny Boyd said, if I had to drive a German car, it'd be a Mercedes. If I had to drive a German car, it would be an older Volkswagen. Newer Volkswagen is just the same Newer Volkswagen is just the most overcomplicated mess I would never want to own. LB Bruin says, Art, I think your electric cart is a good match for my Newport. 38 is asking how much test and tune. We have lots of time for test and tune. We're going to start the day with test and tune on Friday. We're going to start off the day with test and tune. We specifically tried to have lots of test and tune because we knew a lot of guys would be bringing cars out of the woods that have never been run before. And so we wanted to have plenty of time for test and tune. So we're going to have the group photo first thing in the morning on Friday. Then we're going to get everybody off the track, clean it up, and start doing some test and tune. Get into the bracket. Test and tune, call outs, bracket. That worked pretty good last year. So Testa is asking 38 if he's bringing the Corvair to No Name Nationals. And did you see the Corvair with the 409 in the back? If Back Motor Mike gets his subs, he's been sitting at 233 for a while, but if Back Motor Mike gets his subs, he has a Corvair funny car with a 540-inch Chevy big block in the back, and he is 267 subs away. Most of the old parts system 391 small slicks will make that 340 go. Sure should. Dougster said VW diesels. I have no interest in any of that modern Volkswagen stuff whatsoever. Love the old Volkswagen air-cooled stuff. Love it. That car went from first to worst in my book, going from the air-cooled to that stuff they have today. I literally was driving home from visiting with Dart Freak and Stephen Holtz, just driving, going down the highway, and this Volkswagen T1 or something, I don't know, they even have names you can't pronounce, and it's going down the road around me, and I looked at that thing and said, man, I'm glad I don't have that. Dizzy said, Back Motor Racing, very cool, check them out. Agreed, Back Motor Mike, go to my page, you'll see him on there, Back Motor Mike, Back Motor Funny Car Team. He's at 233 subs. That is a cool car. Just needs to make it. Yeah, so Jay's added slicks, 391s. It'll be different. Yeah, that's the thing. Make it to the event. Come hang out with us. Come have fun. Just make it. And then you can keep whittling away and doing stuff with your car from one year to the next and whatever. Just make it to the event. You'll want to keep coming back. You'll want to keep making it quicker. I think what happens is that we all encourage each other to keep ourselves moving and advancing toward our goals every year. It's just cool. Mexican Spec is here. His buddy bought one of those and a second when the first one was carjacked. Mexican Spec, someone did him a favor and he bought another one? That's crazy. Unfinished Project said, watching a video, a guy was cutting down tires for a stock class. He was pulling the front tires on stocks. I'm telling you, yeah, it's pretty amazing when you look at what people are doing in these spec classes. We set up a VHT fund. Stuff is not cheap. I'm going to have a better idea of the budget here in the next couple of weeks. How come it is whenever fuel prices surge because of politically ridiculous, unnecessary things, if we ever rein them in, you ever notice all the other things that go up with because of the fuel price never come back down? They always just stay where they were. Oh, we had to raise prices because of fuel. Well, fuel goes down. Oh, well, they're not rushing to put that back in people's pockets, are they? So I don't really want to know at the moment what a barrel of, well, PJ1 is what Jeffers uses. Yeah, just be glad to help out. Yeah, man, we're going to have a good track. I can't imagine driving a Corvair anyway, much less one with a 409. That's got to be wild. Air-cooled diesel tractor, Doug? That's pretty wild. Frank McCart, Rivet in F100, is telling Thumper that a 70 Opel Kadett was one of his first cars. Dual carburetors. Love the look of the car. Yeah, those are cool. I like the look of them too. Mexican Spec says, I'm surprised none of you guys wanted a car from here for this year's race. And for those who don't know, Mexican Spec is in Mexico. We have Dusters and Malibus with floor shifted manuals. I would love to see a video on that of somebody in our community getting a car from Mexico, that's especially something that we don't have here and never have had here, and bringing it to the event. That would be really cool. Buck does it's got to go. Time to punch out. Cool, man. Hope we made your workday go a little quicker. Yeah, Test. Still 409 hanging off the back of a Corvair. I think that would help pull the front wheels, all that weight in the back. With a dual quad, yeah, why not? You've already got something, I'm sure, that's insane to drive. Mexican Specs is a lot of what we have here. You have there, just completely different. Yeah, well, there's a lot of differences. Some of the stuff I've seen for the Mexican market was completely different and neat. A lot of neat things. I'd love to see somebody bring something like that to Sikeston. That'd be really cool. Kim's asking a question. This is a good one for the chat, for the panel here. Anyone have a great motor flush suggestion? Pretty sure on my Ram, one of my Ram trucks has a clogged pickup screen. Changed oil only helped a little. Kim wants to know, what's the best way to flush out engine oil? Dr. Art said, pull the pan. Dr. Art is correct, but short of that. No, Dr. Art is correct. I do know a guy that got amazing results taking, he had a 5-quart engine and he would run the thing with 3 quarts of oil and 2 quarts of kerosene and idle for a while. And it's amazing how much sludge that cleaned. Now, how good that was for the bearings and all running that one, that's, I don't know. But it would clean stuff. Yeah, Tony says diesel fuel in the crankcase. There you go. Yeah. You can do that. Testa says just pull the pan and clean it. I agree. That's the smart thing to do. Pull the pan and clean it. I'll tell you something else that'll cause a symptom like you're talking about. Sometimes people will get a dent in the bottom of the pan, and it will cause the pickup to not pick up as much oil. Barrow's Garage says, pull the pan or you will drop a lifter in Pocatello, Idaho on your way to the No Name Nationals. Trust me on that one. Yep. Barrow's, it took him an attempt to get there, but he made it. Tony says, I've torn down engines after diesel wash, no measurable damage. That's great. I mean, I'm just saying, I didn't know. It's kind of scary to me, but so Professor P is saying automatic transmission fluid. Yeah, that's probably a little safer. Automatic transmission fluid has a lot of detergent in it, and that would probably be a good way to do it too. He says, or diesel. Where I got this hacky cough from today. Haven't had it all day till I sat down on this live. So mostly old parts and rust is asking, okay, so on that diesel trick, what ratio should you mix your oil and diesel? This is interesting. We get to learn something. Hey, while we have Professor P in here, I've been meaning to send you this, sir. But I'm going to show it on the live and let everybody opine. Okay. Let me set this up. Well, I can do it this way. So I got this picture. These are the ring gears from a diesel truck transmission. And this is for Professor P, but anybody can look at this and opine, obviously. Take a good look at those. These are the ring gears for a diesel truck transmission. And you notice that they're welded, where the hub and the ring gear are generally splined together. They have what looks like 8 spot welds around the perimeter on each one. I would like you guys' opinion on that. This is something that's done in a high torque diesel pulling application. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that that is a legitimate improvement or not? Tony Napoli says, looks like it got hot. Well, those were welded. Those gears, and they were welded because that ring gear and that hub are separate pieces. I think it's out of a 48 RE, which is like a 727. Now, on a 904, they're not. They're one piece. But on a 727, they are two piece. And these have been tack welded together. So, Slant Daily, what do you think about this? Do you think that there would be any consequences of doing this to the longevity or durability of the parts? And Tony's Hot Rod Garage is going to be live after us. So as soon as we shut down, we'll wrap up and go over to Tony's. But what do you guys think about that? Would there be any long-term ramifications to doing those spot welds? Dougster thinks there needs to be more weld than contoured. Well, see, J-Bo, that's interesting because Cope and I were talking about this. He and I had similar thoughts on it. That's why we wanted to ask Professor P. So most of the old parts and Rust is saying thinks it should be TIG welded. Slant Daily says no. Yeah, I don't know. So I have a friend who used to weld gears onto an input shaft in a Ford. He wanted a different ratio gear than you could get with a different size input shaft for a top loader. And he used to TIG weld them on. What we're wondering is, you can clearly see how the heat has gone through that thing. You can see where it's straw colored. And we're just wondering if it would make it brittle or if it would take the temper out of the teeth. That's kind of would be my concern. Testa says more chance to crack at the welds. Well, there are no, remember, it's splined together from the factory. So theoretically, those welds don't need to be there. But they do that, because of the torque they're throwing to it. You have to be careful welding hardened parts. Well, yeah, we just don't know. We don't know. That's why we wanted to get some more opinions on that. .38 POS Racing once had a shop teacher tell him to drain the oil and fill it with kerosene till it knocks. Said they didn't get along. Can think of a good joke for that, but I'll leave it alone. I've got Professor P calling. Hang on just a second. Hold on a second. We'll kill that. Professor P, if you're watching, shoot me a text. You want to get on and discuss for a minute? You're welcome to. Just let me know. Big Block 402 says 111 days. That's not many weekends left. Hey, don't tell him. Let's see if Big Block 402 can guess this. This was part of my contest today. Steven, Can you guess what this used to be? This is just for Big Block 402 because most of you in the chat, we've already had this contest. Do you know what this used to be? We actually had somebody get it within a few minutes. Oh, I keep touching that thing. Hint, it is not part of Space Lab. Yeah, so yes, Professor P. Yeah, we talk about. I'm actually going to wrap this live up here in just a few minutes, but Unfinished Project said most things can be welded with no issue as long as you don't mention it on the internet. There is so much truth in that. Big Block 402 says, I don't know, it got real hot. That actually was an RC car. But Rob's Rods and Streetcars got it right. He won himself a No Name Nationals t-shirt. Yeah, we'll try. People like that. We'll try to do more stuff like that. I just found it and thought I'd do that. Most of the old parts, and Russ says if it was TIG welded to begin with, it'd have less discoloration. Think about chromoly roll cages. Yeah, but chromoly roll cages don't have surface wear and surface hardening problems like a gear needs to be more cognizant of. And to weld, you can wrap them in a wet terry cloth towel. Yeah, I'm just curious. It's 38. If you missed it, it was an RC car, a radio controlled car, and Rob's Rods and Streetcars got it right. I will say I got a message from Professor P. He said it's spotty and he couldn't get on, but he said since it's splines, you do not need much heat for the weld. It will change the temper. You just need the weld to take out the slop so it doesn't break the teeth. That actually makes a lot of sense because the slop in there could, that could cause a lot of damage. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Professor P. TIG them in small spots. I think that is much better solution than those big gobs of MIG that you could clearly see took a lot of temper out. So that's a much better idea. That actually lines up more with what my buddy was doing with gears, and he never had any problem, but he also was much farther away from the teeth than what that was. That was in a manual transmission application. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Again, he says internet's a little spotty, or he'd come on, but we're about to wrap up anyway. And you know what? That actually is if we want to get into that topic, that's a good topic for you guys to bring up on a Wednesday. Because Professor P is going to be regularly doing the Tech Talk Lives on Wednesday while Dallas is on hiatus. And so don't forget, you can bring your tech questions over there on Wednesdays to Slant Daily Garage, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. Fire Pinto says, hello all. Well, hello, Fire Pinto. Glad you could join us. All right, guys, we're wrapping up. Anybody have anything they need to mention? We do want to mention again, congratulations to LNA Auto Works. He got his 500th sub just moments ago, and he's now punched his ticket. We now have Scrap Iron Garage, Phil Landry. He is now running first, and Smoke Wrench is hot on his heels. Who's going to be next to 500? Well, you have to find out. But we have yet another one who's punched his ticket. Fire Pinto's editing videos. Be on the lookout for that. That'll be cool. Look at this. So Mexican Spec and Heavens Mopars are already talking about getting a car across the border. That would be such a Heavens Mopars thing to do. I could see him doing that. Yes, Slant Daily says I'll be there on Wednesday nights also. So anytime Slant Daily Garage wants to have me there on Wednesday, I'm happy to be there with him. I had a great time. I was there last Wednesday. The time flew by. We had a great time with you guys and all in the chat. And you guys are certainly welcome there too. So bring your tech questions, and we'll have Professor P cornered to educate us on matters of technology in the automotive spectrum. And it's such a good time on Wednesday nights. I thoroughly enjoy it. I'll see all you guys there. But we're at our time. So Tony's Hot Rod Garage, he goes live right after me. We're going to wrap up, and I'm going to head over there, and we'll see all you guys again next week. Take care.